What's up, everyone? Thank you for checking out and supporting this episode of Raised A Geek. This week, we break down all the highs and lows of Night of Champions and discuss all the impact this show has as we head towards SummerSlam. I'm here this week with my buddy Don. How we doing, man?
Chris, what is up today, my friend? Everything is all right on this Sunday, post Night of Champions Sunday.
Yeah.
I'm okay. Watching a little wrestling yesterday during the daytime.
Yeah.
The
Foreign shows get us at noon to 2 and like it's
yeah,
over and I'm just like, okay, I'm here
it's
for it.
strange. It's strange if you think about it too hard because it's like, okay, it's noon. Let me put on Peacock and there's just wrestling on. So it's like you got to play that game, that balancing game of do I watch it now? Do I have time? Is it Saturday? Do I feel like I'm wasting my weekend by sitting here during the all like for 4 hours in the middle of the day watching wrestling? Or I can watch it later, then I just have to avoid spoilers, which I was doing all day.
Yeah.
It's a weird feeling, but it's all right. And SmackDown was there the night before, and it was like pre-recorded, so you really had to avoid spoilers because they weren't going to air it here until the evening.
Now we know how the rest of the world feels.
It's true.
All those people, every other show, everyone else has to be like either watch it at 3 in the morning or
Yeah,
avoid social media.
it's true. I guess I never really thought of it that way. When when they're trying to watch it, yeah, it's off hours for them. Raw is live in America in on American evenings, but that's not the evening
That's
in
the middle of the night in the
right.
UK.
Right.
So the
I
hardest
didn't.
of hardcore. So, every once in a while, it's okay if we have to sit here on a Saturday afternoon and watch a show. We'll be all
That's
right.
true.
I just like the shows being on Saturday.
Oh yeah, that was one of the best improvements I've ever made.
Yeah. The Saturday night. That's my biggest thing with AEW shows
Hmm.
is a lot of them are Sunday nights. And I'll buy the pay-per-views on Saturdays. I won't buy them on Sundays because they're too long.
Hmm.
I'm not going to watch a 5 or 6 hour pay-per-view that goes till midnight, 11 midnight on a Sunday night. I just won't.
That's crazy now when we think about that they used to be Sundays and even WWE shows, WWF shows, those pay-per-views used to be fucking 10 matches,
Hmm.
go for 4 hours. So you're sitting there from sometimes 5 hours. I remember wrestling pay-per-views ending at like 11 p.m. and stuff and having to be like, all right, I got to go to bed and go to school. I got
Yeah.
to go home because I got school in the morning.
Yeah.
It's
They used
just,
to go. They used to
yeah,
go. But I mean, yeah, AEW is unhinged with that stuff. And
yeah,
I wish they would realize that it actually does cost them money for people who now know. I understand you want to give people their money's worth. They're paying you for a pay-per-view.
yeah.
WWE is not charging you. They're just charging you a Peacock subscription. So
Mhm.
I understand, but man, Sundays are hard to
Yeah.
want to sit there. So
I think I saw AEW has like a residency coming up in Chicago for like 3 weeks in a row
yeah.
at like the Aragon Ballroom. They're
Hmm.
recording like 6 shows, like Collision. What's their other show?
Dynamite.
Collision and Dynamite, like three collisions, three dynamites, 3 weeks back to back. And I'm
Hmm.
looking at it, I'm like, would I go to one of those? Nah, I'm okay. Uh,
I went to a Dynamite that was here. It was fun,
yeah,
but
yeah,
I don't know if I would necessarily go again. We'll see.
yeah.
We'll see.
Well, that all
But
kind of leads me real quick into a quick wrestling related warm up question we can
love
get
it.
going here before, because we're about to talk about a wrestling show.
Love it.
Just call these the Raised A Geek warm ups.
Get those warm-ups.
Yeah, get your mind going, get your mind flowing in some wrestling stuff. But just like kind of looking at the how many titles are in wrestling now and
Hmm.
how they've all kind of changed over time and uh some of them look similar to what they used to look like, some of them look like completely different from what they used to look like, blah 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 blah. And we've been watching wrestling for so many years, however long, 30 years. My question to you is just off the top of your head, the appearance of wrestling titles. So we're talking world, women's, intercontinental, US, European, ECW, all every title you can think of you ever seen. What to you is the best looking championship belt we've ever had? Or your not your
Yeah.
personal favorite appearance.
Hmm. Honestly, I think mine is, and I don't even know what it's called, but the one I always go back to in my head is the one they did after the Wing Eagle, the one Stone Cold had. Huh?
That's mine.
Is it really?
That's mine too.
That's just
We
core like
yeah,
core memory wrestling for me is like Stone Cold carrying that belt around, not his
yep,
custom one, but that like blue one.
yep.
I mean, I love the winged eagle as well, but that one right after was just like Attitude Era, and it just
That's everything you're saying is my thoughts
yeah,
exactly. That
um,
that title to me just screams my peak time of
yeah,
loving wrestling. Like he was the last one to have Winged Eagle, and then I think the next night on that Raw they debuted that new updated. It was still kind of like Winged Eagle, but the
mhm,
the circle was a little bigger.
yeah.
It added a little more blue to it. It just looked a little more flashy, a little more prestigious than the Winged Eagle, and I just always love that belt. I see Stone Cold with it, and The Rock, and Triple H, and whoever you want to mention during that era who held that belt. I just love the appearance of that title.
Yeah. The other runner up for me that I always really liked was, and I don't even know if you were watching at that time, but when they did the unified title and Brock Lesnar, I only remember Brock Lesnar ever holding it, but it was like Brock Lesnar when Undertaker was the biker and like that era of like the early, like the ruthless aggression WWE
Mhm.
championship. I always liked the way that one looked too. It had a little bit meatier look to it.
Are we talking about the one where Brock Lesnar had it? Did Eddie Guerrero and JBL have that one? That's
Yeah.
the same one.
Yeah, I believe
Okay.
so. That was
Okay.
the one where I think they started doing like the nameplates,
Yeah, I associate that belt with those three guys:
basically.
Brock Lesnar, Eddie Guerrero, and JBL.
Yeah, it was the last belt they had before they started basically doing some variation of logo belts. Because then they
Hmm.
went from that to the Cena spinner belt
Right.
and then to the current that we have now, which is fine, but it's not.
Yeah, I'm okay with it. I just the WWE logo is so big still on on that,
Yeah.
and even all the belts now that have that huge thing. It's like, look, I get it. It's updated to just you want the focus to be on the name of the company, but
Yeah.
it's just yeah.
I will give a shout out and say that I do like AEW's champion, like their championship belt is a nice looking belt.
Oh, it
Um,
is. It's big and meaty.
it's
Yeah.
big and meaty, and they just unveiled, even though it's the stupidest name, the unified title that they're getting ready to unify two belts at All In a couple weeks.
Is it like the international and the continental or something?
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they're going to call it the unified title. That's the stupidest name for a title ever.
Yeah.
Either keep one of those two names or come up with something a little bit like
Yeah.
something, but just calling it a unified title, what does that mean?
Hmm.
Unified of what? Like anyway, but that belt, I really like. They unveiled it the other whatever week it was, and when they unveiled it, I was like, "That's a nice looking belt."
Yeah.
um, so
Possibly one of the worst looking belts I've ever seen. To expand on the question, is that crown jewel belt they did last year. I'm
mm,
glad they didn't have those people. I think Liv Morgan and Cody Rhodes won. I'm glad they never had to walk around with that thing. Those things were ridiculous looking.
no,
I hope
yes.
they don't do that again this year. Like we don't need that thing. That thing was hideous.
It was, and they didn't even get to keep them. Like
Right.
they're in a vault in Saudi Arabia. Like they
Right.
stayed there. They were like, "Hey, here's the champ. Okay, now put him away."
Yeah.
So I'm
Never to be
surprised we
seen
didn't
again.
even see him to some extent. You know, like let Cody come out with it, or
Well, Cody or Liv never either one even like bragged or boasted that like I'm the crown jewel champion. It was just like a one night thing. Next night, nobody cared. Nobody
it
cared that Gunther lost. Nobody cared that Nia Jax lost. It was just like
was a gimmick.
it was a
It was a
gimmick.
gimmick for the show. They were like, "We need something for this show," and this year Crown Jewel is in Australia, so
Right. Are they going to do the same thing again? Like have the champions fight each other? Is that the thing? Is that the gimmick for
I hope
crown
not.
jewel?
Having champions fight each other is the worst thing you can do. Like,
Well, after the end of Night of Champions, they might be setting that up at least on the men's side for crown jewel.
maybe. When is Crown Jewel?
July next
Oh
month.
shit! I for some reason in my head had it as like fall.
No, it's coming up.
Oh, I didn't even think about there being a July when I'm talking about Road to SummerSlam. Let's talk about the Road to Crown Jewel, apparently. But Night of Champions took
Hmm.
place Saturday night,
Right.
in Saudi Arabia. It was like, as Don mentioned, Saturday afternoon for us. It had 6 matches. Overall, what'd you think of the show, man?
I enjoyed it. I think. I think as a whole, I've definitely seen better, but I've also seen way worse. I think as a whole, when you take the 6 matches and look at it, it was pretty good.
Hmm.
I was engaged for the most part. Not so much so here and there, but for the most part, I was engaged. I
Yeah.
think, you know, wrestling sometimes there's been a few in the past that I've just looked at when they were done and be like, eh, like I didn't have to watch that. But this one, I'm like, oh, I'm kind of glad I watched that. It was fun.
Yeah. There were more highs and lows.
Agreed.
There were a
Mm,
couple lows there in the middle that were just kind of like, okay,
let's move on.
let's move on.
Yeah,
Get me on. They probably could have done this as a 5 match card. Probably didn't need 6 cards, but they did it 6 matches, 3 hours.
yeah,
It wasn't a bad watch. I didn't mind. And when
yeah,
you, like you said, when you're able to kind of pause it for a while and then come back to it, goes by pretty
mhm.
quick
For sure,
when you're
for
just
sure.
watching it. But this year they did just as they did last year. They crowned a king and queen of the ring, and
Hmm.
this is the second year now they've done this, and I don't think we were around or we didn't talk about it last year. Maybe we did. Who knows? But they finally made the King of the Ring worth something, and the winner goes to SummerSlam. And last year, Night of Champions was in May, and they did that as well. And they were like, "Hey, winners go to SummerSlam." Isn't that something we said since we were like kids? How come the winner of the King of the Ring doesn't get a championship match at SummerSlam? Why isn't the King of the Ring like the Royal Rumble for SummerSlam? I
Yeah,
feel like we
yeah.
said that all the time.
In years past, it was always if you won King of the Ring, the only benefit of winning King of the Ring was you got to say you were King of the Ring for the next couple months, and that like became your gimmick.
Yeah,
That was like Triple H's whole gimmick when he was like the blue blood, is he
yeah,
walked around with the cape and the crown and the scepter forever. Like he's the King of the Ring winner. Well, so what? What did it get him?
yeah,
All
and
it
it
got
sunk most careers.
Right. All it got this person was the ability to walk around like royalty around coming down to the ring for a little while. It should kind of have some stakes. Everything now seems like it kind of has stakes. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Winning King of the Ring gets you something. Winning Money in the Bank gets you something. Winning Royal Rumble gets you something. Um, so yeah, I think it definitely adds to that luster of winning the thing
yeah, and they have a super fancy crown, but they don't make people wear it. Granted, I think Nia Jax did wear it last year. I think she was
for a little bit,
for a
right?
little bit. She wore it. Gunther was like, "I'm not putting that on my head."
Right.
Um, I think they were the same with this year. I don't think anybody was planning on putting their head.
Yeah.
Maybe somebody did. I don't know. Anyway,
My question is, do you like that we're crowning King and Queen of the Ring, but we're doing it at an event called Night of Champions? Do you wish it was still at an event called like this is the King of the Ring? Or can they not do that because now there's also a Queen of the Ring? You know what I mean?
I honestly think they should do an event like they used to, and they should have that be the night. I do miss when they would have the tournament at the pay-per-view.
And you'd have to fight multiple
And
times.
yeah, and you fought multiple times. Like Bret Hart when he won King of the Ring, he had like 3 matches that night.
Hmm.
Because they did the whole. At least give me the semifinals and the finals. Just like I like when you have a couple matches. It just makes those stakes. It pumps up the drama of that final so much when both of the people in that match fought already, and you have
Right.
a story coming out of like maybe an injury or maybe
They're both exhausted,
they're
right?
both exhausted. Somebody, worked over a knee after the match, like someone got worked over with a chair, and what shape are they going to be in for the finals, and just it just adds that extra drama that you just don't really have when you're just dealing with the finals.
Sure.
Yeah, Night of Champions, there should be more than one championship match.
I was gonna say there was maybe two
Well, what was the second one?
U.S. title and the
US?
world.
Who fought for the US title? Oh my God, I didn't even write down that was a match. Was that on this show?
Solo versus
Oh, yeah.
Jacob.
Yep. Totally forgot that even happened. When did that happen? That was the third match?
It was either third or fourth.
Jesus.
Chris has his order all wrong. Yeah, there was
I
that.
completely
And
forgot that was a match. I was, and when you said US title, I was thinking Julia
oh,
and Vega, and I was like, no,
which
that's
was
on
on.
SmackDown. But yeah,
Yeah.
so there were two. I had one. I so there were one, two, three. I said there were six matches and only wrote down five. Okay,
You'll get there.
I'll get there. Okay, cool, cool.
Yeah.
Two, but two. It should be
Yeah.
like it used to be like all
Well,
championships were
wasn't
defended.
wasn't Night of Champions originally conceived to be every match as a title match? Yeah.
Yes,
Right.
everybody defended a title at Night of Champions.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. It works. I mean, you're crowning something, so I mean,
Right.
I'm sure that's how they look at it. Of like, well, we have a champ, so
We
we
have a
have a
number one contender.
yeah,
We got two number one contenders out of it and two championships,
yeah,
and then just like two the street fight and the Sammy match were just like side matches. I think that Sami Zayn Karrion Cross match was like added last minute to replace Dominic and AJ Styles, which would have been another championship match.
yeah.
But yes, point
But Dirty
taken.
Dom didn't want to go overseas.
He's like, I'm not going over there. You can't make me. I'm
It's a
injured.
war zone.
Right.
I'm not
Right.
going. Anyway,
Yeah, yeah,
segue to that.
yeah.
They opened the show with the King of the Ring men's finals. Cody
Mhm.
Rhodes versus Randy Orton. Cody Rhodes has been back in the WWE for 3 years, and I feel like this is a match that everyone's been waiting for and trying to figure out how are they going to give it to us? At what point is Orton going to turn on Cody, go heel, and do something? Are they going to fight for the championship? People kept waiting for it when Cody was champ. People kept waiting for it after Cody was champ. Um, Waiting for this match, and we finally got this in the King of the Ring finals, where the winner goes to face Cena or Punk at
Mhm.
SummerSlam.
Yep.
This was a solid match, man. It was a good opener. I didn't know what they were going to open this show with, and this was
Yeah.
a good opener. Crowd was hot.
Mhm.
You know, all the foreign crowds love Orton and singing the songs and doing all that stuff with Cody. So I mean, felt this was this was definitely a pro Orton crowd.
It was. It was.
Cody's
And
lost a little luster.
well, yeah, and I'll get to that at the end of talking about this match a little more too, but my thoughts on it. But I agree, it was a solid match. These two know each other well. Obviously, they worked together for years. Have been on the same faction and kind of Cody calls Randy his mentor. Kind of brought him up when he was younger
Mm-hmm.
into the business. So yeah, and we've always kind of wanted to see them fight now in modern day, like now that
Right.
Cody has reached this stature where they're kind of like equals. So it was solid. I think we all expected if they were going to fight, it was going to be under different circumstances. Like one of them has to go heel for them to fight. Randy being the more likely person to be heel. But they didn't do that. They somehow figured out how to do this match where they're both still face characters because it's under the circumstances of a tournament.
Right.
So you won your branch, I won my branch. We got to fight each other. Two good guys is always kind of like strange because like, well, the crowd's gonna side with somebody, and Saudi did speak on who they kind of sided with a little more.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a solid match, and the ending wasn't unexpected to me. I don't think Randy's at a point in his career where he has to be that top guy, even though we all hope one day he kind of does get to be again for at least, another run. But just now is not the time. Now is still like the time I think the company thinks Cody's that guy who they want headlining the big shows. So he's going to be, number one contender at SummerSlam. But solid match. Just, you know, technically sound, just two guys who know what they're doing in the ring, and they kind of just put on a fun show. I had stuff to do on Saturday, but I made sure I sat there at noon when this started because I heard it was opening. I was like, I gotta at least watch this one before I go do my stuff, and I did, and
Yeah.
it was
You did
good.
that same thing. You were like, "Hey, are you gonna watch this?" I was like, "Probably not."
Yeah,
And
yeah.
then I figured I'd watch it, but I didn't know if I would actually have it on in the middle of the day. And then you told me this one was opening, and I was like, I'm gonna put it on. Like nothing's
Mhm.
going on, kind of getting ready for the day. So I was like, let me put it on and
Yeah.
check this out. This was one of the this one and the Cena versus Punk were kind of like the ones that I
What's
had to watch.
two matches that people have been wanting well for a long time, and they put them both on the same card.
Yeah.
You know.
But yeah, it was a really good match back and forth. I will say the one thing, and I know I texted you about it. I don't like people kicking out of the RKO,
Yeah.
especially multiple RKOs when that move has been so protected, and I really almost felt like it killed the crowd when you
Hmm.
kicked out of an RKO because they didn't know what to do.
He did it like 3 times, I think.
Did he do it three?
He kicked out of multiple
Yeah.
RKO's, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and I mean giant ones. I know there was one RKO when he was doing a springboard and flying through the air, and he took an
Mhm.
RKO and kicked out, and I was like, and even the crowd was just like, you didn't even get like that false finish like roar of a crowd. It was just kind of like what?
Yeah.
Because we've been so conditioned that one RKO ends a match.
Well, it's supposed to be. That is the, like you said, the allure, the legend, the the mystique of the RKOs.
Right,
When it hits, you're supposed to be done.
right.
Like it's supposed to be popped out of nowhere in a surprising way, and it's just so quick and fast, and then the match is supposed to be over. That's just how, I mean, we're talking Cody Rhodes though, you know
I
what I
know.
mean? Modern day, modern day Superman. So the rules are a little different for him, but yeah, I agree.
There's a
Fatigue
way.
on finishers not finishing you. Yeah.
There's a way to do it when you do
Yeah.
those ones where people kick out, and I mean they've done it, but it has to be like the drama has to be there building up to it, and
Or
like
you could at least like modify it. So let's say the RKO hits, but then Cody's so close to the ropes he can get his hand up on the rope.
yeah.
I'm cool with that instead of just him like being able to kick out
Yeah, he
at
rolls
two.
out of the ring.
Yeah.
He does something. Orton can't get the pin because he's
Right.
holding his knee or his back and he's trying and selling. But I mean, he was going for that pin. I mean, RKO, Cody flipped over. I mean, it was like textbook, and then he
Mhm.
kicks out, and then like you said, the crowd just had no idea. I mean, this crowd was pretty much pro Orton, I think.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, that was kind of the point I was going to make at the end. Like at the end of this qualifying King of the Ring, and they did it at the end of Queen too. Whoever got in the ring with the microphone to talk to the winner for a little bit. So they did that with Cody, and he kind of even. I can't tell if it's bothering him in real life how kind of crowds are reacting to him a little bit, but
Mhm.
he was like talking about, I fought Jay, I just fought Randy, fighting Cena. He was like, I know sometimes crowds aren't enjoying when I'm beating on the characters that you like. He's like, but I'm going to do this for me because they're all holding my place. He's kind of acknowledging the fact that crowds aren't on my side as much as they used to be. Like Jey Uso's getting a little more cheering than me during our match. You guys are cheering for Randy a little more. Obviously, crowds are pro Cena no matter what he does. Uh, I think he's starting to kind of notice, and it like makes you wonder, like, where are they going? Are they eventually one day is Cody going to go in and be like, guys, I'm ready to go heel, like it's time, or what? But that's a
Yeah.
talk for another day. But he is noticing it, I think,
Well,
and
yeah,
we're
and
noticing it.
it's really screwing with their story that they're telling because it got in the way. They wanted to turn Cena heel for Mania. Cena and Cody had their heel, Cody was going to be the super good guy. Then they did those kind of foreign shows. It's this Cena's retiring.
Hmm.
Crowds weren't going to buy into Cena as a heel because this is the last time they're going to see him, so people don't want to boo him
Hmm.
regardless of what he says. So he's still being cheered, he's still being chanted, and then you're still throwing in Cody Rhodes. I mean, yes, it would have been a bigger disaster if they both tried to go in as good guy to good guy. I mean, if they were really going to do that heel turn, it should have happened at WrestleMania, and you should have just went in with the boring build of Superman versus Superman, and then have Cena realize I can't beat him, kick him in the nuts, and win and go heel, and like there's different ways that it should have been done. And I haven't enjoyed the Cena heel run, but
Yeah.
yeah, Cody just came out of that with a stink on him that he
Hmm.
hasn't been able to shake yet. And we know that this story is heading towards Cena and Cody too at some point. So
SummerSlam, right?
SummerSlam, yeah, without giving away the main event.
Yeah,
You already watched it.
people
Um,
listening know.
but I mean, obviously, most likely Cody gets his belt back in Cena at SummerSlam, and then Cena turns back to a good guy and finishes off his run.
They kind of planted the seeds, but we'll get there
They've
when we.
been planting the seeds. So yeah, anyway, so yeah, I don't really know where Cody Rhodes goes, but yeah, I agree with you. I can imagine him at some point. They're just gonna be like, okay, it's time.
I think it's up to him too. Like he's gonna probably help make the decision.
I would
I was
imagine.
I mean, believe what you will when you read like rumors and dirt sheets. Half of that stuff is bullshit anyway. But I know they're floating the idea of doing Cody as the heel for Mania.
Yeah.
Um, but they just didn't want to yet. Like it's not. It wasn't. in
It
their
really
mind
wasn't the
time.
time to do it.
Yeah. Like he sells too many t-shirts and too many kids like him and he's just still they want him to be the face, baby face, still face of the company. Um Everybody else has like this attitude to him, but Cody's still that guy who smiles and shakes hands and holds babies. You always need a guy like that,
Yeah.
that the kids want to emulate and who's just morally right and they weren't ready to move on from him in
Yeah.
that capacity yet.
No. So
Someday.
yeah, we'll get it, and we might be getting it sooner rather than later. But all in all, this was a great opener. It was a solid match. It was definitely worth the watch. I, was there. Had a couple things, like you said, the RKO kickouts I didn't really like, but
Mm.
all in all, it was a good match, is what you would expect when you're saying Cody and Orton, and I really can't wait. There were some Orton did some like flourish, some yeah, I mean basically Orton tried to cheat to win.
Mhm.
So there's definitely that edge there where it's like, okay, Orton, now this is the second year in a row he lost the King of the Ring in the
Right.
finals. This is, he hasn't won a pay-per-view or really a big match in a long time.
It's like at what point does he realize he has to go back to his
Yeah.
crazy killer
Yeah.
persona to get what he really wants?
And he's been and he still owes us a punt
Right.
because like
He hasn't punted somebody.
he hasn't punted anyone yet, and he was gonna punt Kevin Owens at WrestleMania if Kevin Owens wouldn't have got injured. So he
Right.
still owes us that. Like
Right.
he needs to
And
go back to that Randy Orton. I think. I think if we go back to that one where he's just punting legends and they're doing something,
yeah.
that would be
Well, now he's the legend, so he'll be the legend doing it.
yeah. And it'd almost be like, what if he goes on a run where he's just like taking out younger people who want his spot.
Yeah.
Like now he becomes the old guard who wants to hold on, like those legends that he was
The
punting.
perfect way you could do is be like he comes out and be like, I used to be known as the legend killer. Now I'm the legend who is the killer. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? Some
Yeah.
shit like
That would
that.
be. I'm here for that. So I'm
Yeah.
I'm hoping. I feel like they were dropping seeds.
Yeah.
So I think that those. Hopefully, we get to see what that grows out of sooner
Yeah.
rather than later. I'm imagining post SummerSlam. Like I said, I
Sure.
want to see him in a championship. He needs to be in a championship.
Yeah. Put a belt on him for at least one more good run.
Yeah, I mean, give him a couple more. I really wish they would have put a couple more on him and been able to let Orton and Cena be for the let him tie Orton. I mean, he needs like one more to have tied Cena.
Hmm.
I mean, I think if their match would have had that weight of who was going to be 17 first, like they would have been able to like bounce that out of who's going to actually break the record. I think that would have been
I
awesome.
think
But
what's Orton at like 13? I think he's at 13 because
I
I
thought he
think
was at 14 or 15. But yeah, maybe he needed a couple more.
yeah, because I think they said combined they're like 30.
Okay,
Who
so
knows? Maybe I'm
somewhere in
wrong.
there, 13 probably is right. So he probably would
Yeah.
have needed they would have needed to really plan stuff out. Anyway, solid match, solid opener. Now we know that Cody Rhodes is going to SummerSlam. He will main event SummerSlam,
Hmm.
but against who? We
We'll
kind of
see.
already said, but we'll talk about it in a minute. Next up was, I believe, I don't know, my whole order might be screwed up. Rhea Ripley versus Raquel Rodriguez in a, what do they call it?
It was just a street fight. So no rules, no count outs, no disqualifications, um,
Yeah, and Rhea
weapons.
Ripley's last match in NXT was a last woman standing match with Raquel Rodriguez, and it was awesome. And I
Hmm.
still remember that match. So when they were like, "Hey, they're gonna go do a street fight," I was like, "I have to watch this match. Like, I'm here for this match because I know that those two women can go and give it." And they did, man. This was they brought it. They brought it hard. I almost feel like this was probably really close to being my favorite match of the night. They
Oh, yeah.
just killed it.
No, it was definitely one of the show stealers where you didn't expect it to be,
Hmm.
where you didn't necessarily think you thought like sure it'll be entertaining enough. Rhea usually does pretty good in the ring. Um, Raquel is a professional, even though, she doesn't have the same kind of aura that
Yeah.
some of the other women do. But when she gets in there, she's like a big woman who can move and do power moves. And these are two like kind of big women. It's not often you get Rhea versus someone who's stronger than her. So that's pretty fun when you get
Right.
someone who's stronger than her who can throw her around a little bit. Um, but yeah, it was a solid match, man. They used tables and kendo sticks and chairs and all the stuff you expect with a street fight. But Yeah, man, it was good. I don't know. I know some people like to give Rhea a lot of shit because it's like the popular thing to do. Like the people who are on top, let's give them shit, and some of it is deserved coming her way. Like she always has to be involved in the title picture. But if you really look at what she does in the ring, she rarely disappoints.
Right.
You know what I mean? She usually always kind of puts on a really good show. I don't think she gets enough credit for how good she sells stuff. Like
Yep.
when she gets hit with a big move, she like sells that motherfucker like the
Right.
Bills are due. You know what I mean? She makes it seem like she's really gets hurt from stuff, and she's just really good in ring. And Raquel, same way. You know?
She's honestly, yeah. Rhea Ripley's the modern day like Shawn Michaels. She
Mhm.
really does go out there and she's like a showstopper. She goes out there, she has the aura, she has the presence, and she can back it up. And she, no matter who she goes in there with, even if you're just like her and Selena Vega, like this is
Right.
a mismatch. This looks weird. They somehow still make it work into a solid
Mhm.
match. It's just she just brings it. She just even when you're not interested in her match, she still has something to it. And yeah, Raquel reminds me a lot of like Lyra Valkyria, where
Mhm.
they can both wrestle like crazy and they can put on a good match. They just don't have an aura. They don't have. There's something just not there.
Something's missing with that part.
That
Right.
yeah, the connection. They just don't have that. Something's not coming through. Like whether or not they're not
Mhm.
showing enough of their personality or
Right.
something's just missing there. But when I see them gonna have a match, I'm like, I know
Yeah.
this is gonna be a good match.
Yeah.
And when you give Raquel, especially time in a big match, it
Yeah.
she also delivers. So the two of them, and then yeah, they laid in their shots. Um, some of that stuff felt there were a lot of things I'm gonna say were on this show that felt like watching an old Attitude Era pay-per-view, like
Sure.
seeing Rhea Ripley kick that chair into Raquel's face, and I was like, damn, she took it like full on.
Right.
There were some spots in this one that just felt like old school street fight wrestling that you just don't really see, at least in WWE.
Like Rhea beating Raquel with that belt like 100 times. I was like, stop.
Yeah,
You got her. That's enough.
yeah, she didn't hit you this much with that kendo stick.
Right.
I know you didn't have your hands up to block, so I'm sure that sucked. But
Right. Right.
yeah, it was there were some moments. But then they, like I said, Rhea Ripley though does usually always win. So
Yeah, I mean, I didn't expect anything different. I thought she would. She wins 90% of the time,
yeah.
but maybe even more. But still a solid match, man. Well, obviously Rhea won. The finish to me was good. It was one of those oh shit, like please don't hurt yourself finishes with that table being laid out across the top and them both having to balance. And those are two not small women. So at any point that table could have buckled and they go falling and fall weird on your ankle. That's just always what I'm thinking is like, just don't hurt yourself doing this.
And they came down hard. Like I've
Oh
seen
yeah.
her do that move off the top rope or off the middle rope, and it always looks rough. But yeah, being straight off the top like that and
Yeah.
then doing that, they hit that mat hard. I was like, Jesus.
And just recently people just hurting yourselves on landings. Like Liv Morgan and who was the other lady who messed up her knee recently? She used to be in the something something collective. You know who I'm talking about. I can't
Oh,
think of
Zoe
her name.
Stark.
Zoe Stark messing up her leg on a
Ugh.
fall.
Yeah.
Yeah, gross. I can't think of it. Not gross. That's rude, but it looked terrible.
No,
I
it was
can't.
it was it was horrible. It was horrible.
I can't look at leg injuries in any kind of sport. They're hard to
I know.
watch. But
I know. I know. And I threw that picture in the text. I was like, damn it, I always forget that Don can't handle leg injuries.
but yeah, Rhea came down on her leg kind of weird off on that pump handle slam
Mhm.
off the top. It like folded under her weird. I was like, "Oh my God, please don't have blown your knee out."
Yeah.
But
Seemed to be okay.
it seemed to be fine, but yeah, it was crazy.
And I do need to give a shout out because Roxanne Perez did run out
Hmm.
and tried to get in the interfere. So it looked like there was a numbers game, which did give me a wonder if Raquel was going to pull off a win in that
Yeah.
just to have that numbers game. Plus, I feel like they're telling this Judgment Day story with Liv Morgan being out and Roxanne Perez is probably going to slip in and become like
She's like
take
taking her
her tag
place.
team title for
Hmm.
this Evolution pay per view. So I feel like there's a story there, but Roxanne Perez is another one that I'm really excited to see more of. Like she
Yeah.
has an aura about her, even though she's like 3 feet tall.
Right.
But she
She's
can
little,
go
but she
and
can go. Yeah.
yeah, she can go and she also just has like I said something that just makes you want to watch her. So
Yeah.
I'm excited
Oh,
for that addition, and I think leading into whatever story they do with the tag titles with Liv whenever she's ready to come back, like that was all cool. So I liked seeing them build that.
no, I agree. I'm here for a Roxanne push.
Yeah,
All the NXT women who've been called up lately have all been good call ups.
yeah,
Roxanne and Stephanie and Julia and like they all kind of are getting a push in their own way, but hopefully Roxanne's on like this little rocket ship where she can get some more screen time.
yeah.
Mhm.
She's been doing the reps for a while, so I was excited to see it. But this was one of my favorite matches of the night. Like they killed it to me. I was watching it and I enjoyed
I,
it.
I agree.
Next up was the match that forgot even happened. The U.S. title, Solo Sikoa versus Jacob Fatu. Fatu is defending his championship. And I will say I forgot about it, but I did enjoy this match. This was like I think I told you it was like a clusterfuck of a match. Like there was run-ins, there was chaos, there was, I mean, Jacob Fatu was up against it. But what'd you say? This was the surprise of the night for you?
Ending wise, yeah, for sure. I always, as everybody probably does, probably before these PLEs, you look at it and you say, okay, this person's going to win that. This person's going to win that. Like sometimes there's certain times where you go into a match and you really have no idea. And those are rare where it's like, I don't know who's going to win. But a lot of times it feels like you have a good feeling like this is where the story's going. This is what makes the most sense. In
Hmm.
my mind, it was like, there's no way they're going to take this belt off of Jacob yet. Like he's just recently got it. He hasn't had it that long. I don't even know if he's defended it more than maybe once. And he seems like a guy where they wanted to put the rocket ship on his back, send him up. He's, bring some prestige to the U.S. title because it's been kind of down over the past,
Yeah.
several months. And it's like I just in my mind I was like, there's not a way Solo's going to win this belt, and he did. And it's not, and it makes sense because he expanded his stable. You know what I mean? That's what we had at the end that in your mind made this feel like an attitude era clusterfuck kind of thing, is all these run-ins and returns. Tomatonga comes back after, you know, he hasn't been around since November
Yeah. And
with
you thought that was
injury.
going to be the
He
thing. And
thought
then,
that was the big run-in, and then we get another new guy
yeah.
who's like his brother, I think they said, or he's been wrestling in Japan, I heard them say, but he's just like another guy, another Samoan who just
Yeah.
huge, like a
I don't
seven
think they
foot.
named him.
I saw on the internet he has a name that he wrestled under in the Indies, but they're not going to go by that name. They're going to call him like Tala Tonga. I,
Okay. Tongaloa, Tongala.
yeah.
Was that the guy that was known as Hikaleo? I kept
Yes.
that is okay. I kept hearing Hikaleo's been signed for like a year. Where is he? Where is he? Where
No.
is he? Um,
I guess that's him. I'm not familiar with him.
yeah, I'm not either, and I never bothered to look it up. I just figured he'll show up at some point. But yeah,
Yeah. But him coming in and being a new guy who's like, super tall, a 7 foot looking
right.
dude, and looks pretty strong. Uh, so then it made sense to me to have the evil stable overcome the lone wolf.
Yeah,
But just in my mind, it was like, whoa, Solo, Solo won.
yeah,
Uh, it was a little, so that one you can't get me that often with a result winner. But I was like, oh shit,
yeah. Well, and you almost had to let him win because I mean, if Jacob Fatu is able to overcome this whole stable with
yeah.
all of these new people, like, hey, we added JC Mateo, he ran out, he got beat. We brought
Mhm.
back Tongaloa, he got it. That didn't matter. We bring out this new guy. No, Jacob still win. Like at that point, it was like the stable had to win, otherwise they're
Yeah.
not going to be taken seriously
No, it's
in
true.
any way. But Jacob Fatu still beat the shit out of all of them, and I'll remember that whatever flop thing he did over the top rope where I thought he was gonna die.
Yeah.
I was like, that was wild. So Jacob Fatu's like something else. Like he's
Oh
just
yeah, he's an alien. He's like a unicorn, you
yeah, I
know.
don't know what that dude does, and I feel like everything he does is gonna hurt somebody.
Yeah, yeah,
Like I'm like, how has this dude been wrestling like this for so long and he's still like walking?
yeah.
Like some of the
Those
shit he does.
those those snap. What do they call it when the guy's on your back and like a fall away slam
Oh,
kind
the
of a little
Samoan
thing?
drop.
Yeah, the Samoan drop. When he does those so quick to people and like throws them up and then just quick does it real quick, I'm always like, oh my God, he's gonna hurt his back or hurt whoever. But he never does. It always is super safe, but
Yeah.
it looks very dangerous.
Yeah, because it's so quick and yeah,
Yeah.
he's a beast. And I mean I enjoyed this match even though I forgot about it. It was and I usually Solo Sokoa is, there. Like he's never been anything like special, but he's been fine. I was more shocked that of how much he's turned into like a comedy.
I think that's been the best thing for him.
Kinda.
Like kind of loosen up a little bit.
Hmm.
Like when he was just Roman's bodyguard and didn't say anything. All right, he's like a Taz wannabe. Even John Cena called him that. He's just like a quiet enforcer in the back. And then in the bloodline, when they started with him being like the leader of the bloodline, and he was just basically trying to copy Roman and be like Roman, but it was like Timu Roman, you know what I mean? Like no one really took it seriously, and like he's getting title matches. Like he sucks. Solo's not gonna win. This is stupid. But now he's kind of just like loosened up and says some
Hmm.
jokey things and does some funnier. I take him more seriously now than I did before.
I can give you that. I can give you
You know what
that.
I mean?
Yeah. I'm a little bit more interested after watching him at Money in the Bank, and he was cracking. I was legitimately laughing at him at Money in the Bank. Like he was
Yeah.
doing stuff that made me laugh.
Yeah.
Um, and then here, I enjoyed it. So yeah, I'm more intrigued in this bloodline than I
Well,
was
he got
going into
like
this show.
he got a solo belt
Yeah,
before Jimmy Uso. Like Jimmy Uso's the last one left from that
yeah.
original bloodline. Like even Solo got a solo belt now. Uh,
Poor
so
Jimmy.
poor Jimmy, I know.
I'm I'm
His
I'm
wife has money in the bank. His brother's been world champion. His little brother's now got a solo belt. Like Jimmy's
right.
just, hey, don't forget about me.
I know they keep. I know it's like either put him back in this bloodline or put the Usos back together. Like you
Yeah,
gotta. I'm
right.
glad that they still keep using Jimmy. Like that he hasn't been completely forgotten. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Anyway, good, solid match.
solid match. Solid match with a surprising outcome. Solo Sikoa is the new U.S. champ coming out of Night of Champions. So we'll see where this new bloodline goes
Hmm.
with all these new members. Then honestly, this is when the show started. These next two matches were a little they were fine, but
I think
Sammy
he, I,
Sammy Zayn, huh?
did we? Oh, okay. Never mind. You're right. You're right. Go ahead. I thought the order was off, but you are correct. Sorry. You're
Because I was
good.
about to say next was Sami Zayn and Karrion Cross, right?
Yes. Okay.
And this match was fine, but this was a TV match. Like it just kind of was there. I was on, I was watching it. I'm not I know Karrion Cross has kind of like this
Cult following.
cult following coming out of WrestleMania, or he did that shoot promo and dropped a bunch of F bombs and really called out the booking and how he's not being used. And then he's kind of spends his time on TV just doing like 30-second, I'm going to mind mess with people.
Hmm.
He's the mind freak.
Yeah.
um,
Just kind of lingering in the
just
back and just
lingers in the background and it's like a shit stir, and which is fine. And I don't mind it. And, but I mean, I don't know where that's going. So I really haven't put much investment of my thoughts or emotions into this. And this was just kind of the obligatory Sami Zayn and Saudi Arabia match. Got to get him on the card. Got to get him on the card. So he's there. Um, it was fine, but I don't remember really a damn thing about it.
right. No, I agree. This was a when you said it was a TV match. This could have been on Raw or
Yeah,
SmackDown. And I
it
think
was just missing the commercials.
I even said it earlier. I'm pretty sure 99.9% sure this was just the replacement match for Dom and AJ.
Yeah,
Because every other match would have been on the card. So this is the one that's like we need a last minute sixth match because we booked this time for six matches.
yeah,
Uh, so yeah, I kind of agree. I got no ill will towards Karrion Cross. I think that shoot he did, which if you watched it and you think about it later, it seems like it's mostly scripted, but he did get some real feelings out in there.
yeah.
And I think wrestling fans, at least internet wrestling fans, reacted to that in a
Right.
certain way that has kind of forced WWE to give him more time. So good for him.
Yeah.
Like, more power to you. But watching him in ring is just like, how much further are you ever going to rise above this where you are right now? I don't know. You
Yeah.
know, you're
They
just
have
he's a mid card guy, and
they have to give me a reason to invest. Right
yeah,
now, I'm not emotionally invested in him because I don't feel like they're invested in him. So, like I
right.
said, they put this match out. I said, good for Karrion Cross. He's on a big event, an
Hmm.
actual pay per view, or a PLE.
Hmm.
good for him, that he's going to get a match. I can't tell you the last time he had a match like this. He hasn't
Of
qualified. He
consequence,
hasn't been
right?
a part of anything.
Yeah,
But it was like, I know Sami Zayn's going to win.
right.
I know, like, there was no, suspension of disbelief there. I knew
Hmm.
that how this match was going to end. Yes, it was a solid match. I have no problems with it, but I just wasn't emotionally invested because they haven't given me any reason to invest in Karrion Cross. So
Right.
if they keep going, I'd love to see more of them. I mean, him and Scarlett have that aura we talked about. Them
Yeah.
coming out to the ring, they're doing their thing. Like he can cut a promo.
I will say his entrance to the ring is badass.
Yeah, 100%.
Like with Scarlett being the focus and being in black and white and her kind of the camera being on her, and then all of a sudden she moves and he pops out and it goes to color. Like I thought that was badass.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
He has what he needs. It's just
Mhm.
I don't know why they just don't use him. They used him like crazy in NXT and he was awesome. I
Mhm.
don't know why his transition to the main roster both times because I mean he's already been Vince fired him and then Triple H brought him back. So like
Yeah, it's just
I don't know why well, I don't know what the problem is that he's not
we go through this with so many people though. It's like there's only so much TV time.
right.
Some people just get left waiting in the wings.
Hey,
What's going on? What's up going on with LA Knight? You know what I
right.
mean? Like what's gonna happen? There's just only so many people you can feature.
Yeah. And I mean to his credit, he does get on TV every week. So
Yeah. Yep.
they're doing something with him. Hopefully this is a stepping point to the point where I can see his name on a card and care. This was just one. I mean, I just really struggled with just it just didn't have
Yeah.
that
It
like
was just
weight
there.
behind it.
Yeah, it was just there.
But it wasn't bad. I'm not gonna shit on it, but I can't really tell you much that happened in it.
No.
So not gonna.
Agreed.
Then we moved on to the Queen of the Ring finals, Asuka versus Jade Cargill.
Mhm.
And once we hit the finals and we knew that this was going to be the finals, I think I sent you a text that said, "Poor Asuka. Why are they doing this to Asuka?" Um, yeah, it was what I expected it to be. It just I Jade Cargill has we've talked about it multiple times throughout this. She has like an aura, a presence. She looks like $1 million. She just still, I mean, in multiple ways. But um, so I'm never going to complain about Jade Cargill being on my TV. But
We can agree.
yeah, but she just is missing that in-ring component. She's kind of almost like if you put her and Lyra Valkyria together, it would be like a super
I was gonna say the wrestler we talked about earlier, Raquel.
Raquel. Yeah.
If you combine Jade's aura with Raquel's in ring, you'd have a superstar.
I mean,
Right.
you would have like potentially the biggest superstar in your company.
Right.
Like it would rival when Becky Lynch was the top,
Yeah.
like when she went on her massive run and became the number one in the entire company. Like
Mhm.
it would be
Headlining
ridiculous.
WrestleMania and shit. Right.
Yeah, 100%. Like they
Yeah.
wouldn't, it wouldn't even be a doubt in my mind if you could mix
Mhm.
that some of that stuff. But for whatever reason, like Jade Cargill, you could tell she's trying so hard, and
Here's a
she is getting
mm.
better, but it's just a really slow.
She came into wrestling late. Like she hasn't been doing this her whole life, so she's still learning on the job.
Yeah,
And I got no issue with that. The issue is they want her to be this huge star, but she's just not there yet.
right,
In ring, you can
right,
tell when you're watching her, she's being led every match by whoever she's fighting, and that's why they keep having her fight against people who are experienced veterans who kind of have to like know, okay, I have to put this girl over. I have to kind of walk her through stuff. I got to make sure she doesn't hurt herself or me. Um, and that was no more evident than ever than this match. Just sloppy, and not Asuka's fault. And I don't even blame Jade. She just doesn't know what she doesn't know. You know what I
right,
mean?
right.
I mean, she won the match and did her finisher and freaking botched the pin. You know what I mean? Like she fell, she fell off the top of Asuka. So really, the ref should have stopped and been like, "That's not a pin. That's not a pin."
Yeah,
But they did it anyway. Um, and the
yeah. It's
crowd,
just
yeah, the crowd was very Asuka favored.
right.
So that made it even weirder because, like, I know the company thinks like they should be rooting for Jade here and very happy Jade won and clapping and cheering, but they weren't because they were pro Asuka.
Right.
So it was just, I don't know, awkward, a little awkward.
Yeah,
And
awkward's the best word for it, and it wasn't really anybody's fault. You could tell everyone, and like I said, I don't want to like trash Jade Cargill or Asuka or the match or any of that because they busted their ass, and I want to give them credit for
sure.
that. And
Yeah.
there were spots, there were moments, there was things in there, but it's just those little things that just take you out of it that makes it kind of forgettable, just makes it not
Yeah.
okay. Yeah, figured Jade was going to win. Wasn't necessarily surprised about that. I'm super happy to see Asuka come back and do her thing. She has that presence and that aura that we've talked about. That, like I said, so I mean, we had a lot of that. We just didn't have a lot of great wrestling, but they hit each other hard. They,
Yeah. I mean, like I said, Jade has a lot to learn, but she still can bust out a few power moves that look good.
yeah.
It's just when I'm watching them, I'm just like, please don't hurt yourself or the person you're doing this
I'm
to.
honestly, I'm always more concerned she's going to hurt herself.
Right.
Like it feels like she has a lot of protection for who she's in the ring with, but she doesn't always seem like she's comfortable with what she's doing.
Yeah.
So it just makes me nervous. But um,
And then this also is just like a sign. It's not a sign, it's a fact that like now we know she's gonna main event SummerSlam. It's like, okay. Well, I
is
hope
she going to main
whoever
event?
the
She
the
doesn't have
women
to be the main event.
not main event,
She
but
gets a
have a
champion. She gets a
championship
championship
match.
match. So
Yeah.
and I guess we didn't really talk about it with Cody and Orton because we were trying to be coy. But like with this one, now Jade has a championship match against
The
Tiffany
WWE
Stratton as of right now.
as of now, right?
How do you see that going? Do you think that's the SummerSlam match, or do you think Naomi cashes in between now and
I think Naomi. My mind is Naomi cashes in.
so you think we get another Naomi Jade match for the championship, or do you
Yeah,
think, or do you
I don't
think
think.
Naomi cashes in on Jade after she wins at SummerSlam?
Uh, I think it's a good question. I think Evolution's more of a time. I think
Hmm.
to do a women's cash in. That's like the all women's PLE,
Yeah.
and I think maybe Tiffany has a match against somebody else, and Naomi does her cash in at the end of Evolution. So she's the champ going into SummerSlam. Um,
Now I'm gonna let me throw a curveball in you at that.
uh-oh. What's the curve?
That weekend is the ridiculous weekend of wrestling,
Yeah,
and I
yeah.
feel that Seth Rollins is going to cash in Saturday night. That's Saturday main event. Do you think they do two cash-ins in one weekend to completely destroy any momentum that AEW might get?
Who would Seth Rollins cash
I
in on?
think he's going to cash. I hate saying this out loud, but I feel like they're going to have Goldberg beat Gunther, and Seth
No,
Rollins is going to cash in on Goldberg.
I
I
don't.
no, I hate that, but I just see that like happening. I can just see it. It was like Jey Uso winning the Royal Rumble. Like I could just see it. Like Goldberg, it's his last match.
That buries Gunther.
No, it's a horrible thing, and I hope it doesn't happen. And honestly, Gunther can beat Goldberg, and the same thing can happen. But it's like you can have Goldberg win that match, and Seth Rollins can come out and do that, and you kind of protect. No, I don't know. I just
There's something in I hear that and it sounds interesting to me. Like that could
mhm.
be definitely an option for them. For some reason in my mind, I feel like they have Seth focused on the world title, not the world
The
title, the
WWE.
WWE title.
And yeah, coming out of this, maybe we do shift that way. So yeah, maybe that changes that. Going into this show, that was what I thought. I figured Seth was going to cash in at Saturday Night's main event to make headlines and to
Mhm.
bury the lead.
Yeah. I mean, putting the world title back on Seth would be good for the brand because still for some reason I know subconsciously or not, people still look at that world title as like the secondary one,
Right.
and the WWE one is the main one.
Well, when they call it the undisputed championship, it's
Right.
like,
Yeah,
well,
it kind of is. Like the
why do
world
you call
title.
it that when it's not the you have another heavyweight champion on
Yeah.
your company? Why are you calling this one the undisputed?
Right.
Like that's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
It is. It's kind of like a punishment of their own doing. They kind of make the world title a little feel a little bit like it should just be the intercontinental title of the old days. You know what I
Right.
mean? It kind of almost is like second thought.
Yeah.
So But yeah, I don't know. Well,
Just curious. But yeah, I could see Naomi. So you're thinking we're getting Jade and Naomi at SummerSlam.
yeah, a rematch, and this time more stakes. Naomi being champion, I think Naomi would probably win that match too this time. They're not putting a world title on Jade yet. I'm sorry. I'm just don't think that's going to happen. I don't see it in any
And
way, shape, or form. And having a Jade versus Tiffany main event doesn't seem conducive to what they're trying to do. Like they're both babyface characters. I just don't see. I just don't see it. I
I
don't
could
know.
I could I could see what you're saying
Yeah,
with that is where do you go with that? So yeah, I'm here for it.
yeah. We'll see how
Like I
they
said, I don't want
handle
to
the
I don't want
money.
to dump on this match, but it's just even on paper, I was just like, I don't know what to think of this match. Like I don't even know what to what to expect outside of just I just don't see this working, and I don't think it ultimately did. It didn't. Nothing stands out in my brain that happened with Jade and Asuka.
No, me
So,
neither. Me neither.
which is
So
a
yeah,
shame, but
this is probably the low point of the card. I'll be honest.
yeah, honestly, and I enjoyed I did enjoy every match of this show, but yeah,
Mm.
this Sammy Cross and Jaden Asuka just kind of took it down, which I'm not really mad at because then it gave us Cena Punk to close the show and bring us back up because I thought this match was outstanding. Like I had a lot of fun. This is probably the most fun I've had with Cena this year
And CM Punk. No,
and
CM
CM
Punk.
Punk.
Yeah.
Um, did he do it? Drew McIntyre stuff was last year, right?
Bad Blood, October, the
Okay.
cage match, like match of the
Okay,
year.
just making sure that wasn't this year.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was just it was what we wanted it to be from Cena and Punk having their feud, 2011, and them just being really the best rivals for each other. So
Yeah.
you knew they were going to get at least one match in, and man, they delivered. They did everything they needed to do to show up, put on an entertaining match at both guys that are a little bit slower, a little bit
Mhm.
older. Punk can still go a little bit more than Cena. He's got a little bit more calluses on him that he can push it a little bit heavier than Cena can, if it feels like. But Cena brought it, I felt like.
Yeah. I think CM Punk's like 46 and John Cena's like 48. So these
Mhm.
these are like two guys who are beyond their prime, so they cannot wrestle, they cannot put on the same kind of matches they used to have 15, 20 years ago,
Right.
but um yeah, I think when you put them together, they still have a good chemistry.
Yeah.
Even in their older bodies, they kind of know how to work together. Their lead up to this match was good to me too. I thought it brought out the best of both of them
Hmm.
on the mic because they've always taken pride in these. Say what you will, be a hater or not, love or hate these guys. They're two of the best on the microphone
Right.
ever of all time, and they're still both really good at that.
Right.
And letting them kind of have their back and forth leading up to this was fun. That's what people wanted to see. They
Right.
like, I want somebody to push John Cena on the mic. I want somebody to push CM Punk on the mic, and they did that. And so the lead in to me was good, and then the match itself was just a fun technical two guys who you can tell know each other inside and out, have been doing this for, like I said, decades with each other, and it was
Yeah.
just a great
Yeah.
great
They were
match.
able to tap into the greatest hits of what they do
Yeah,
and said, okay, we'll take this spot from this match, this spot from this match, this spot from this match, and we'll just,
yeah,
we'll just kill it. And talking about the lead up for this one, what I think I enjoyed so much about this was Cena's first feud, especially since going heel, where
mhm.
he actually cut promos on the dude he was in the match with, and not the crowd.
Right.
He cut promos on Punk, and Punk
Hmm.
cut promos on him, and it wasn't about us. We're not in matches with John Cena. Stop talking about us.
Right.
It's a
Talk
boring
about
promo. The
the guy
first
you're gonna
one,
fight.
I give you the first one when you came
Right.
out after Elimination Chamber 2 weeks or 3 weeks and you want to shit on the crowd. Cool. Now you need to give me something different. You can't just keep it's because of you people.
Yeah.
You can't keep cutting that promo and expect any kind of like dividends.
Yeah.
And
You
this
could
was the first feud.
you could tell that, see, John Cena's been waiting years to do his take on the pipe bomb. Be
Right.
like, I was the guy lying in the ring when you decided to do that, and that's been your iconic thing that's followed you your entire career. Like, let me finally reply to you on that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And
And
I forgot until I watched that video package.
Yeah.
I forgot that all those details. Like I forgot that Cena was laying in the ring. Like so when I saw that, I
Mhm.
was like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah.
And I think I saw somewhere online that they said like Cena fought R-Truth that night as well, or something. Like
Oh.
R-Truth was like involved in that in
Hmm.
some capacity as well. So
Yeah.
it was just like it's just kind of funny that it's like so many years later and they're like, we'll just recreate it, but the other
Yeah.
way around. Because I thought it was goofy that Punk just laid there on that broken table the whole time, and I'm like, that's kind of weird. But
Right.
then,
It was a mirror to the.
yeah,
Yeah.
when I put that together, I don't remember all the little details of that shit. So
Yeah.
yeah, the build up was the best Cena's done, and so far this match was the best Cena's done. I think. I mean, I really enjoyed his feud with Orton, that match
Mhm.
as well, and that feud. I mean, like I said, those promos still were a little you peoply, but
Yeah, but they still had Orton and Cena still had the chemistry too that
yeah,
they had.
they and out of all the matches they did, that was it was a good match. So I'm not but this one I think so far is just been it was just fun. They kept it going. They went back and forth a little bit. They got me a couple times wondering if Punk was actually going to win this. And then we got the ref bump, which is now a staple for Cena matches because we
Yeah.
don't know what Cena's gonna do.
Yeah.
And we got the ref bump. That's when Punk gets the visual pin, of course. So he does technically beat Cena, but there's no ref to call it. And then we get,
Classic.
yeah, I mean, that's the go to. And then we
Yeah.
got Seth Rollins and his crew that's still nameless coming out.
Right.
And I saw Punk like waving out, and I'm like, who's he waving out? I didn't even think about a referee. He's like waving, and I like Seth. I'm like, why the fuck did he just call Seth Rollins out? I'm like, that's weird. And my brain was all over, and I was like, wait, nope, Seth is just coming out. Okay.
Yeah.
And then we had that. I was like, oh shit, cash in,
Mhm.
and like,
Mhm.
wait, but he doesn't have a ref, and like, I was right there for all of this, man.
Yeah.
I
And then
was,
Seth and his group come out like you said with Braun Breaker and Paul Heyman and Bronson Reed. Uh, and then to answer that, more music hits and Penta comes out and he starts fighting with Braun Breaker. And then Sami Zayn comes out for a second time. And it's like I'm sitting here watching this and it was so chaotic and just so much going on that it did feel like Attitude Era. But I'm sitting there like, is this a Vince Russo?
yeah,
Like produced segment. This is
yeah,
like this feels very Vince Russo, end of Nitro, end of Raw,
yeah,
where
just chaos. All hell is
everybody's just
breaking
running
loose.
to the ring. Not saying it was a bad thing. It was like it was fine. And Penta and Sammy, yeah, they don't make a ton of sense, but it's like that's the other two guys who are kind of like
Feuding with this group, so
feuding against Seth and
but
them.
yeah, like Penta's music hit, and like the crowd is like, "Wait, Penta?"
Penta, what do you?
They
I
were
think
not prepared for that. They were not ready.
I think if Kevin Owens wasn't hurt, he'd probably be that guy who was with like Punk and Sammy versus this group, but Penta kind of fits in there as
Yeah,
a
he's
replacement.
feuding. I mean,
Yeah,
it made sense. It just
yeah,
was unexpected. Like I just wasn't expecting when you tell me John Cena and CM Punk are going to have a match. I mean, that's a SmackDown match. That's like I didn't even think about Seth Rollins coming out. Like I didn't.
um,
None of it
it
clicks.
didn't.
But
Yeah, it
Seth
didn't.
Rollins has vowed that CM Punk will never win a championship. That's been his mission statement, and he held true with this. But I really enjoyed the fact that like you kind of had this moment. I don't remember if it was before or after. It was probably after or before Seth Rollins came out, but you had that moment where Cena grabbed a chair and he ultimately was just like, I'm not going to use this chair.
I think it was the belt.
Oh, the belt. Yeah. He grabbed the belt and he was
Yeah,
like, that was Orton
because
that grabbed a chair. Okay.
well, that's been Cena's thing over this whole run is hitting people with that title
Yeah.
belt to win, to cheat.
Yeah.
Like he did it against Cody, he did it against R-Truth, he might have done it against Randy Orton.
Yeah. I think he
Uh,
did.
so he grabbed the belt to hit him, and then yeah, he hesitated and put it down and is like, I'm not going to do that this time. Whether that's just they're making it seem like the crowd is getting to him, or is it because it was Punk or whatever reason?
Hmm.
They're kind of planting seeds like maybe there's still this morally right guy in there.
Hmm.
Um, but yeah, just that whole sequence and
And I think that led to the visual pin.
yeah,
And then that led to Seth Rollins coming out. That ended with a brawl. That then Penta and Sammy took out Breaker and Reed. Seth Rollins at that point decided, hell yeah, Cena's still down.
Bring in,
Punk
bring
is
me,
down.
bring me my ref. Charles Robinson running down.
There's that,
Cena doing a full dump truck on him.
that was the best. That was the highlight. That was the
Yeah,
best thing to come out of this show. That was unexpected as all hell. It was shot perfectly. I absolutely loved that because Charles Robinson did his meme run out and he
yeah.
came just hauling ass down that ramp and Cena just pounced him to hell, man. He went
Can't
flying.
he can't run as fast as he used to, like, but he was trucking down
He
that
was trucking. He was huffing and puffing his way down that ramp. He
fucking.
was going and he was just like ready to, I don't know, man.
Yeah,
He Cena came out of nowhere and just pounced his ass and he
yeah.
went
That
flying.
made me laugh
No, I
uncontrollably.
laughed. Yeah. I was like, "Oh my God, that was
Yeah.
just so funny."
No, that was awesome. But then that also led into Cena sliding back into the ring and like getting in Seth's face and be like, "What
Yeah.
are you doing?" And that was a moment too where I was like, "Oh shit!" Like Cena's this huge heel, but then Rollins is also this heel, and they haven't really interacted yet.
Right.
And now they're interacting kind of for the first time, and the crowd is pro Cena at this point.
Right.
You know, in if it's between them two, the crowd is pro Cena. So,
Easily.
um, him kind of, and then like Cena kind of dispatching Seth, and then you get left standing in the ring is Cena and Punk, and they have this moment where Punk reaches out his hand to shake his hand, and the crowd is like, "Oh my God!" and they hug, and then they kind of recreate the backlash stuff, which it was all super cool
Yeah, it was
sequence.
all well done, but you also left out the fact that Bronson Reed went to Tsunami Cena and Punk saved him.
Oh
So
yeah,
you had
yes,
Cena saving Punk from Seth and
hmm
Punk saving Cena from Reed.
right.
And then they were like, let's shake hands. And Cena's like, no, I'm giving you a hug. And then, yeah, he did the stare at the camera.
Oh no,
Oh, no. But then Punk blocked the kick to the balls. And
yeah,
then Rollins showed up with that briefcase and smacked Punk in the head with it.
gave him the stomp, and that was kind of the end of it.
Yeah.
So it leaves open the. It was a just a crazy
It was crazy.
finish.
Yeah, I loved it.
I loved it too. People are giving it shit that it was too much running, too much whatever. Dude, it was entertaining.
Yep.
Like it should have been a clean finish. It should have been like no, they're telling a story. This
They're
is
telling multiple
wrestling.
stories.
Like this is wrestling. Are you new? Like stuff just happens like this all the time. It's a drama. It's a soap opera. Like just be there for this kind of stuff
Right.
because we don't always get cool stuff like this.
Right.
It just tells a story that can go in so many different ways. Keeps everybody involved. Keeps Seth involved in the mix and keeps Punk like CM Punk didn't lose clean. He still has a claim to be like I want to fight Cena again. You know they could fight again even though I don't know if they will do that, but it's like it just leaves the door open for so many different things, and
Yeah.
just just a cool way to kind of end the show. I give CM Punk a lot of credit. For one, he did great in this match again. Like, remember how worried we were when Punk came back to WWE, like being like, I don't think he can go. The dude can still go. I don't
Yeah.
care. He cannot go like he used to, but he can still go. Um, but I give him a lot of credit. He has not had a world title yet since he's been back, and we all thought like they're gonna put a belt on him immediately and he's gonna hold it forever. I love this idea that he's just okay with not being champion,
Right.
just kind of being there for the good of the story. He's taken so many pinfalls to people, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Where we all had in our mind, like, oh, he's this selfish guy who just wants to be the man and be on top and be the champion. He hasn't had a championship yet. I don't know when he's ever going to. He will eventually, but it's like, I just love this thought that he's just going with the flow and doing what's best for
Yeah.
story. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I'm impressed with. I was worried. You know, he got painted as such a selfish guy and wants to be the face of the company, and it's just like, dude, no, he's just going with the flow, man, and doing what's best for business.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know,
And it's better for it.
yeah.
This was a fun ass match. I have no idea where they're going next because Punk obviously still has this thing with Rollins.
hmm
He got screwed out of this match with Cena. So I mean, yeah, now you're telling me that there's because I'm sitting there thinking SummerSlam was the next show. So I'm sitting there like, well, now we know Cena's got to move on back to Cody for
hmm
the King of the Ring, but he doesn't yet.
They still have Crown Jewel to do
We still
and
have
Saturday
Crown
Night's
set
main event.
technically Saturday Night's main event and Crown Jewel. And you
Yeah.
know they're going to want to put big matches on that Saturday Night's main event. up against All
Mhm.
In. So do we get Cena Punk 2 at Saturday Night's Main Event? Did we
Potentially.
get Punk Rollins at that show? Like,
Again, yeah,
what
maybe.
is that? I mean, where does Punk go when you have a finish like this?
It's so it's so because now you're also mixing Cody Rhodes into the mix too. He's the number one contender.
Yeah,
He's got to stay involved. He can't just be off doing other stuff. So he's got to stay involved in what Cena's doing. Um,
right.
I don't know. I got this four-way match planned out in my head somehow that I feel like that's gonna be hard to get away from, unless you want to like switch things up. And what do you do with Roman Reigns when he comes back? He's
I was
got to
going to
be
say at some
involved.
point, Roman, I was expecting Roman to be back by Money in the Bank, and
Mhm.
he's looks like he's taken off till SummerSlam. So
Right.
what? Yeah, where does he fit back in with this? I don't honestly don't even remember. Was the last time we saw him at WrestleMania?
Oh, shoot.
Did he
Maybe.
has he shown up since post Mania? Has he had another match since
Honestly, dude, I can't even tell you, man.
that triple threat? He had that triple threat at Mania.
Yeah, but he's been back since then because that was
I feel
when
like
Seth double stomped him onto the.
yeah, he showed up, and then Braun. He showed up only I think the night after. Has he come back? Because then the night after Mania, Rollins set up that stable, and Braun Breaker attacked both Punk and Rollins. And I don't think we've seen or Reigns, and I don't think we've seen Reigns since because I kept thinking they were going to do a tag match like Braun and Seth versus Roman and Punk.
Yeah, the last thing might have been Braun Breaker getting that spear on Roman when he like first joined
Yeah.
Seth. Maybe.
So I don't think he's been back since. It's crazy.
Uh,
That dude's got
getting ready to film Street Fighter. He doesn't have time.
Akuma.
Yeah.
I'm here for that, man. I'm here for that all day. But
No,
Night of Champions was fun, man.
yeah.
What were you about to say about Street Fighter? Say it. Say it.
No, yeah. Yeah, I've been seeing some of the casting comes out. It's interesting. But I'm gonna totally see that movie. It's gonna be crazy. 50 Cent got cast as Balrog.
What?
Yeah, I
Curtis
said it.
Jackson?
Curtis Jackson, 50 Cent,
Did
Balrog.
you see, and this is a weird sidebar, but did you see that there's like the first audience reactions for Mortal Kombat 2 are like outstanding?
No,
Yeah, I saw something they were talking about like some early screenings they've done of like the Mortal Kombat 2 was just like holy shit. Like
really.
and they were like Carl Urban as Johnny Cage just kills it. And I'm just like, yeah, that does kill it. And I was like I enjoyed that last one, but I feel like they're
Yeah.
gonna go heavy video like a little bit
Well,
more. Like that original one had that create a character that we
yeah.
had to
Like,
follow with his golden arms or whatnot.
didn't he become Scorpion too at the end in like a weird way? I don't remember.
I'd have to watch it again. It's been a minute, but there were a
Yeah.
lot of cool things with that last one, but there was a lot that it still needed. And if they fix some of those things for the second one, man, I'm here for that.
Yeah.
Anyway, weird
We grew
video
up
game
on we
movie.
grew up on Mortal Kombat and Street Fighter. I'll see the hell out of both those things.
Yeah, and we won't be in a pandemic, so I'll go to the
Right.
show.
Exactly.
I had to watch it Mortal Kombat on HBO.
It's true.
That needed a big screen.
Yeah.
Anyway, Night of Champions.
Yeah. I mean, like you said,
Subscribe to the Raised A Geek podcast so you can hear us talk about the Mortal Kombat 2 movie when it comes out.
most because we're gonna be talking about it.
100%.
Um, but yeah, Night of Champions. All in all, like we said, we touched on the low points, but I think overall, entertaining show.
Yeah.
Had me pretty engaged from start to finish, minus those couple little setbacks in the middle.
And
But
they weren't bad. I don't want to give
yeah,
across that it was bad. It just wasn't. It just didn't
yeah,
have my attention.
no, yeah, for sure. And like the opener, the main event, the women's street fight, all that stuff, just fun. The crowd was into it. Like those Saudi Arabian crowds, they really just get loud, and that part is fun. Sometimes with any international show, like the interpretation gets a little off. Like they don't cheer at parts where Americans would cheer, but then they cheer extra loud at parts where Americans would just be like, eh. So that always makes the show feel a little different. It
Yeah,
kind of feels
just
like you're watching like a soccer match or something sometimes.
yeah.
Just them cheering like ole ole, but it's just like it's different. It's
And
just
you're
a
like, why are
different
you doing that? They're in the middle. They're trying to have a conversation. Why are you doing
right,
this?
right. Uh, but yeah, man, overall just a fun, exciting atmosphere, I think, even with all that being said. But just yeah, a good show, man. I was pleasantly surprised by Night of Champions because I didn't have any crazy expectations for it.
So then we move to, as you said, Crown Jewel is next.
Or is it the Saturday night's main event? I
Yeah,
don't
I'm
know.
looking up the date of when. Here it says Crown Jewel's in 20 October.
Is it Crown Jewel 2025?
October 11th, 2025 is what.
Well, then maybe I was completely wrong, and we've been saying the wrong information this entire time. Yeah, you must. Maybe it's because I saw Crown Jewel was tickets were on sale.
Okay,
Okay, yeah.
maybe.
So everything we've said about Crown Jewel, disregard that. It is not until October.
So yeah, ignore. Everyone's been like, it's not in July, guys.
You guys are stupid.
We figured it out. So yes, Saturday night's main event is the next one,
Okay, all right.
July 12th. Night of
Gotcha.
Champions on June 28th, and then yeah, in 2 weeks we got Saturday night's main event,
And
and then SummerSlam.
Evolution's the next night for the women, right?
Yeah, Saturday night's main event on Saturday, Evolution on Sunday, and also NXT is on Saturday, but I don't usually watch a lot of those.
Yeah. I think there's only been one match announced for the Saturday night's main event so far, right? Goldberg Gunther. So
Oh yeah, I was about to say what match?
they at least got to do four more matches.
Something like that. Usually they do. What didn't that last Saturday night's main event only have like 3 matches?
No, three's not enough. I think
No,
maybe
that was
minimum.
Money in the Bank. Didn't that only have
That only had the two ladder matches and then two other. I think that was four.
was that four? They get it down to
Yeah.
four.
Yeah.
Saturday night's main event, yeah, probably 4 matches.
Four or five, I would say. Usually these things have four or five. Fit them in 2 hours. So I guess we'll see. I don't know. I haven't been a big fan of the Saturday night's main events yet.
Too
They
many
all kind of
commercials.
too many commercials because it's NBC and they all feel like it could have just been a Raw or a SmackDown. Like it didn't need to be this. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, I'm not, I don't enjoy them. But I'll probably watch this one. I'm still
Yeah.
most likely I'm gonna put my money towards All In, and I'll be watching that. So it depends on how long that goes. Would be
Yeah.
my initial thought, but we'll
I think
see.
they're I think they're kind of in trouble with the Goldberg Gunther match at this point so far, unless something changes, because that crowd is pro Gunther at this point. When Gunther cut his
Okay.
promo on Goldberg,
Okay.
or you may
Yeah,
not
I
have
don't have
seen it.
Netflix, so I don't see Raw.
Okay, yeah. Um, they last week they had the Goldberg side of it was just he wasn't even in the arena. It was just a sit down interview with him, pre-recorded, like a interview with him and Michael Cole, just in chairs talking, and Goldberg basically saying like he disrespected my family, so at Saturday night's main event, I'm gonna make him pay. He's next. Just all the stuff you'd expect Goldberg to say, not even in front of a crowd, just pre-recorded, scripted, practiced, whatever. But then Gunther came out and had his response, and everything he said about Goldberg, he was like, "You're washed up. There's no way you're gonna beat me. I'm gonna punish you. I'm gonna embarrass you." The crowd was cheering like loud as hell. Like, "There's no way that this old man is gonna beat me." And the crowd was going crazy, eating it up. It was like, "Yeah, they don't want Goldberg,
Nobody wants
but
Goldberg.
you
In
guys are pushing."
2025, there's very few people
Yeah,
who care or want to see Goldberg do anything, especially over Gunther. Like,
I just
it,
have this feeling that it's gonna backfire on them. This their hope, or at least they're just gonna have to roll with what the crowd gives them on this one because they're gonna.
I don't think they care. I
Yeah,
think it's like, let's get this over with. Let's do
yeah.
this match. We'll throw it out there. The people who care are going to come out for it. The people who are going to hate it are going to hate it. We're just going to put it out there. And once again, it just comes down to what that finish is. And if
Mhm.
they do some weird thing where Goldberg beats him for a cash in, or if it's anything but Gunther beating him,
Mhm.
I don't know what we're doing here. But um, hopefully they don't get cute with it and just let Goldberg do the honors and call it a career.
Yeah.
I'm always scared to watch Goldberg matches because he looks rough. He can't
He
really
can't.
do shit.
His
So
knees don't work. Yeah.
yeah, and yeah, when they were talking about, I kept seeing all the reports of him like limping out to the ring. I was like, ooh,
Yeah.
that's no good. So
Yeah.
yeah, I'm not the most. I've never been excited about that, but we'll
Yeah.
see. We'll
We will
see. And
see.
I'm sure if anything worthwhile talking about happens, we'll be here. talking about it. So let us know what you thought about Night of Champions. Let us know what you think as we head through the summer.
Mhm.
You're interested, excited in Goldberg and Gunther, let us know why. And you know how to do that. Hit us up on social media at Raised A Geek or email us at raisedageek@gmail.com.
Agreed.
Agreed. Any final thoughts?
Nah, man. Fun show. Go
Yeah.
watch it if you hadn't, and we'll see what happens on Monday night. I'll tell you since you don't have Netflix.
I don't have Netflix. Don't. Just not worth it for me. But that's a conversation for a different day. I think that's going to do it for us this week. So for Raised A Geek, I'm Chris.
And I'm done.
And thanks for checking out the show.
Where geek is all we speak.